Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we will be talking about the Ultimatum Season 2, Episode 4.
And before we get into that, make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment. Don't be selfish. Share the show. And we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It is September, and we are trying to get there by the end of December. I know that is a lot to ask for, but I just need y'all to do it.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Go ahead, Blair.
All right. So we start with Riah and James.
All right.
They are playing a sex card game.
Ooh.
Getting a little steamy.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation eventually turns to Riah expressing that she just wants to have a date night.
Okay.
And James is saying, everything or things can lead up to foreplay. Like it can be physical, but it doesn't always have to be. You can cook your wife or your girl a breakfast in bed, and that kind of gets things going for the big show at the end of the night.
Okay.
And Riah is asking, are hugs considered foreplay? Is that something as well? So
now, is this the same conversation that they had when they was talking about being physical, or like is that later on down?
That's later on.
Okay, because I think this is just the beginning of the depth of what we go get into that, because I got a lot to say about her persistence to being physical compared to James' response to that. And I think we're going to see more of that in the episode, right?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Next, Roxanne and Alex. And Roxanne, she's asking him about his work day. Since they were both working right next to each other, they were in meetings all day. She thought it was the coolest thing.
Girl. Please.
Essentially, that was it. It's nothing interesting about their connection or relationship.
They just worked for the man.
Exactly. And Ryan and Trey are together. They have a little wine and ice cream on the balcony, which was a super cute scene. I thought that was I don't know. It just seemed very heartwarming. Okay. So they're talking about how their first week actually went really good. It went by fast, and it was surprisingly pretty easy. Ryan feels like Trey came out of his shell a lot, and she also expresses that she's never lived with someone. She said the longest that she spent with James was 2 weeks for a family vacation, but they've never, spent over the night together.
And that is interesting. That kind of goes back to last episode where I was like, James worried about Trey deflowering his flower. There is a certain innocence that Ryan is portraying. That is very, what's the word? That James want to protect.
Oh, possibly.
Because the fact that y'all been together for this long and y'all don't even live together.
And honestly, he's probably been the only person she's been with.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the only time y'all been together for long periods of time is when there's adults around. When y'all are adults yourselves, I can kind of see how it may come off as a innocent relationship. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And Trey, he shares that it really is good to have similar qualities with your partner. It's just kind of been a breeze.
Trey is seeing the light. He's seeing a little light. He's just like, this is kind of nice that, that we kind of have similar qualities and things like that. Kind of makes the conversation a little easier. Nobody got to cry. Nobody got to ask for no hug. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, I can't just have wine and ice cream and then just go to bed.
Yeah, and it'll be a great evening.
I didn't know this was possible. Go ahead. Right. Continue.
So Riah and James go on their romantic date. He's got rose petals by the pool and candles. And James just wanted to create a really romantic moment for her.
Nice.
And they talk a little bit about weddings and colors of roses, and she said she wants everything to be gold for her wedding, so they have a cute little moment about that. James expresses that he wants to have kids. Riah's, she's not really saying much about that, but she is expressing that saying I love you is pretty hard for her.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So now we are in week 2, and we cut to Kat and Antonio, who are having a picnic.
Okay.
And he gives her some flowers, which is sweet. And Antonio is saying that he hasn't really been good at romantic stuff a lot of the times, mostly just because he can't afford a lot of things. So he doesn't buy concert tickets. He doesn't do activities or anything like that just because he can't afford to do it.
Stay there. What did I just say last episode to y'all? I said, if you get highlighted, if you highlight what you can't do, you it's kind of hard for you to see what you can do.
Right.
So because he can't afford concert tickets, because he can't afford vacations, because he can't afford these extravagant things,
he does nothing.
He thinks that he doesn't have a romantic side. You could be romantic without concert tickets.
Yeah.
Listen here, I'm romantic and I never brought Blair concert tickets. I don't really be going to concerts myself. You get what I'm saying? So it just shows that if you're always beating yourself down and then on top of that getting beat on about what you don't do and what you don't have, it will give you the illusion and you will believe that I don't have a romantic side. What I can do won't be considered romantic because it's not concert tickets.
It's not lavish. It just didn't cost me anything.
But it everything costs. You get what I'm saying? Even if it's time.
Yeah.
You know, but continue.
Yeah, and he was saying that a lot of the times it comes across that he doesn't care, but he actually does. And I just want to kind of speak to that and also say that you don't have to spend, honestly, spending a little bit of money is helpful because even this picnic, you know, to get some food, champagne, whatever like that. But if you just want to go for a midday walk with your partner, talk about how they're doing, and maybe some people wouldn't consider that romantic, but just that little bit of time of really connecting is a lot. It means a lot, at least to me.
Yeah.
So, and Antonio was expressing that there was a time in his life where he was just high for 6 years straight, and he was just ignoring all of his problems, truths about situations, and having a lot of sex and all of that.
Yeah, that lets me know right there, Antonio. I'm not gonna put that blame on Roxanne right there. Antonio, you may need to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you may need to build yourself up, because if you don't have self-esteem about yourself, then of course the hits from somebody else is going to seem more hurtful. But trust me, there's nothing nobody can tell you that is more hurtful than what you tell yourself.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I can only imagine being high for 6 years, what problems you was avoiding. I'm not going to say what.
How you're probably stagnant in life.
You wasted 6 years. You can't get that time back.
Yeah.
And some people may be looking at it as laziness, but you may be depressed.
Yeah.
Like that's why I say you may need some more help than just another partner. You get what I'm saying? Like you may actually need some isolated time alone with yourself to build your self-esteem, so your esteem won't be easily attacked and easily damaged by somebody else's opinion.
Yeah. And I really felt that Antonio was monopolizing the conversation about himself, his issues, and things like that. At the same time, it could just be that Kat just didn't say much, because he does end up asking her a question on if she feels like she know who she is, has she figured out who she is. And she said she's still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Kat is not a woman of a lot of words.
Right. Or Antonio
just took up the time
the whole time.
Camera packed up and left.
Right. Next, we have Alex and Roxanne. And Roxanne says that her parents would never think she would settle down.
Okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't consider that for her.
Okay.
She says that she's always around, or the boss women that she's around actually don't want marriage. So that's what she sees in her circle, I guess.
Listen here, one of the richest women in the world, one of the richest women in the world is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. She was married to Jeff Bezos. You get what I'm saying? So it like this whole like boss woman act you trying to do. That's why I'm like, it just comes off as try hard. You can be you. You can be like what you do, who you are. That doesn't change. Matter of fact, let me see it. Stop telling me all the time. Let me see it for myself, because I haven't seen, outside of her telling me how much she's a boss, I haven't seen anything that she's done on this camera that gives boss.
Yeah,
I seen her work. You get what I'm saying? But she just keep throwing it in my face, like you know, us boss women, we got this Facebook group, and like we don't see the benefit of marriage, and I'm just like, all right, yo, like you get what I'm saying? Like it just seems like you just like this whole, you like the title of boss lady more than wife or even girlfriend.
Yeah, like that's a stronger
that's a badge of honor. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a better title. And Alex is saying that he wants to be strong and independent and all those things, but he wants to do it for his family and for his spouse.
Yeah.
To bring them to another level together. And he tells her that sharing vulnerabilities with your partner is actually like sweet and it's endearing and it's attractive. Next, we have Ryan and Trey.
Okay, what's up, Ryan and Trey?
And really, so Trey went to get her car cleaned earlier that day, and she really appreciated it and was just expressing to him how much she appreciated it. And he said, like, look, this is just kind of what I do, like, you know, taking care of you. These are just kind of ways that I show that I care. And he expresses that he sees the beauty in how kind she is. And Ryan does say that she has a hard time expressing herself when she doesn't like something.
Yeah.
But also for him, he does come across very selfless, but he should put himself first at times. And Trey says that it is pretty hard for him to put himself first when it comes to somebody he cares about. And I think that goes into the thing that we were talking about before, where people are afraid to open up because they're afraid to lose their person. So maybe he feels like if I put myself first, then my person will be turned off and not want to be with me.
Yeah, so. I think like that was some good advice that Ryan gave Trey. Not particularly for her.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing, even though I see how easy they're getting along, I don't see the connection when it comes to them being together.
Right,
so
not on
far.
Ryan's part.
No. Trey is like...
Trey is falling.
Yes. But Ryan is more like, you know what? You should really start putting yourself first for Riah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Or whoever you're with.
Yes, exactly. Not me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I think what Trey is experiencing is once you're in a relationship and once you only know that relationship, you think all relationships is like this. Or it kind of mess up your head. You get what I'm saying? So now he's like, wait a minute. It can be easy?
I had no idea.
So all he's been experiencing for the past couple days is just ease. You know, like I said, he's just experiencing some type of gratitude for the things he do. You get what I'm saying? Not because here's the thing about it. When somebody do things, even if it is for the kindness out of their heart, that a thank you goes a long way.
It's much appreciated.
It goes a long way, and we can sometimes take for granted the thank yous, right? And especially if you're doing something for somebody who needs it, and you don't get a thank you, it kind of becomes like routine. Like, oh, I have to supply for her, or I have to supply for him. Compared to like, oh, Ryan don't really need this, but let me go just take her car to get clean. Yeah. And she's really appreciated because she's like, oh, okay, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's one less thing I have to do today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making each other's life easier.
So next we are with Roxanne and Alex, and we are meeting the parents.
Meet the parents.
We are meeting Alex's parents. Roxanne, she is pumped. I'm always good with parents. I got my stuff together. They're going to love me. I'm great. And that's how Roxanne feels.
Listen here. I feel you.
So she's talking to the parents and sharing that she's never believed in marriage, even though her parents have had like a over 30-year marriage, and she's just been focused on work. And the mom tells her, like, look, you know, me and my husband, we've been together for a long time. We're both entrepreneurs, and it's actually a benefit to be married being an entrepreneur. And Riah, what is her name? Roxanne, all these R's, are saying, Roxanne is saying that, yeah, it makes you look good. It makes, you know, the things look good. And mom was like, well, it's not necessarily about a look. Like, you have someone you can talk to at the end of the day. You can bounce ideas off of. You can vent to. And then Roxanne was like, oh, I can talk to you about business all day, talking about Alex's dad. And he was just like, we're here about relationships,
girl,
not about
business. Are you listening? She just like the aesthetics of like, we're both entrepreneurs, we're both business people. It's just like, you're not even listening. You're not even listening to them.
Right. They're also they go outside of the house and they have a discussion about how parents should meet the parents of whoever the spouse is going to be, and it really is good. Like the mom said, you know, it's a way to vet the other person, get to know their backgrounds, and it is, you know, two families coming together at the end of the day.
True.
And Roxanne, she's talking about how both of their exes, both Kat and Antonio, aren't what they need, and how Roxanne, she says she's a challenger, and Alex has no goals or a career path, and she needs someone with the same kind of vision as her.
So Roxanne is saying this?
Yeah.
She's saying Alex has no goals, or like Antonio don't have no goals?
Oh, Antonio. Sorry.
Antonio.
Yeah,
okay.
She's talking about her ex.
Yeah. First of all, don't talk about my ex too. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know, like, we are like on this show and we are together. Talk about your ex.
Exactly.
Don't talk about my ex. But what happens is Alex opened the door for other people to talk about the ex because he said Roxanne is everything Kat is not.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And now she can feel like she can stomp all over her.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, you open the door for that, Alex. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's just weird.
Yeah. And the mom expresses that, you know, maybe I didn't see it before, but maybe there was something in the relationship that wasn't making him move forward with marriage because he does want to be married. He's expressed that he wants to be married at some point in life.
Yeah.
And she's asking Alex, like, do you want a more challenging person? Is that something that you feel like you need in your relationship? But they cut the camera. We don't really get an answer to that. But I guess that's
it's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger, something to where he can kind of chew on and think about to see if that's something that he really needs.
That's fair.
Yeah. And they both also mentioned that they both just don't turn off their work brains. Like, they always are focused on the grind and all of that business talk.
Yeah.
So, Pewy, whatever. Like, it's great. Like, I'm not trying to put down her accomplishments. That's awesome. But
I don't know what her accomplishments is.
But I mean,
so I can't put it down. Only thing she keeps telling me is that she's a boss lady.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, that doesn't matter to us. We're not here to talk about your work. We want to see how these relationships go.
This is a love show.
Exactly. Riah and James are up. So they are in the apartment after their date. They both really enjoy their night. And James is expressing that he shows love by doing things for people. So I think he cooked her some food.
He did cook.
He's washing the dishes while they're talking. And Riah brings up affection.
Yeah.
And so she's saying, so you don't really like to hold my hand anymore. And he's saying, look, it's kind of a time and place. I don't just hold my partner's hand in the house. Like, we might be walking or in the car or something. And she's like, well, you haven't held my hand in the car. Okay, right. And then he goes on to talk about, well, you know, affection isn't always physical.
Yeah.
You know, it can be like acts of service and just making sure you're cared for in different ways.
Yeah, like cooking and washing the dishes.
Right.
Yeah.
And creating this whole date for us.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, he's saying, well, you know, we hug, we do that. And she's like, well, last time we got a hug was yesterday and it was a side hug. Just like, okay.
Girl, where are you going with this?
And she's saying it's just hard to get the marriage experience when they aren't physically affectionate. And she's asking, do you feel like we're really married? And he's saying, yes. She's like, do you even like me? He's like, I do. I think so. So he's getting the fifth degree.
He's getting grilled.
Yeah. And James is just, he's having a hard time. Okay, so they both talk about their partners.
Okay.
And James is saying that, look, like, I respect my 7-year relationship with Ryan. And I'm not just going to be moving in this relationship as though that doesn't matter or mean anything to me. He reveals, like, he cheated on her at one point, and it really tore him up. And Riah, she's saying, well, clearly I love Trey. But
Clearly.
But he's saying, like, it just seems that you're ready and willing to move on to the next relationship, and you're not really considering him that much. So,
Riah,
tell us how you feel.
Riah. Where do I start? Don't ask me to hold your hand. That's one thing I don't like. Like, don't tell me what to do. Just do it. If you want to hold my hand, hold my hand. If you want to hug me. You get what I'm saying? More times than not, if you want something, give it. You get what I'm saying? What it just comes off where she just basically like, well, it's not fair that, like, I don't get the full experience of basically being married to somebody else, but she's only obtaining it to the physical.
Yeah.
As if, like, it just came off as if she just wanted sex.
But he was saying, like, but she was saying, like, oh, I don't mean sex. Like,
then what are you talking about then? Like, and she's basically saying, like, this is not a full experience for her, where this is actually the most time James sounded mature. Like, James sounded very emotionally intelligent. So that kind of lets me know, like, oh, he has emotional intelligence. He just chooses to use it. He chooses when not to use it. Mm-hmm. And he's basically explaining, like, look, a relationship is more than just something more than physical. Mm-hmm. It can be something as, like you said, cooking, things like that. And she's like, well, when are we gonna get to the physical? I think she watched last season and probably had an idea of what she wanted to do, and actually have a chance and actually have a get out of jail free card, and like, well, I get to at least sleep with this person, and you really can't be mad because it's a show.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? But how can you not? Okay, I think you're saying not sex. Okay, cool. But what are you talking about then? Mm-hmm. Like, what else are you talking about? This whole thing of having to give you some type of physical attention. What are you giving? Mm-hmm. Forget physical. What are you giving, period? You ain't cook. You wanted a date night, he gave it to you. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You ain't wash the dishes. You didn't offer anything of affection or anything of gratitude to him. Only thing you came after the man cooked for you, after you took you out on a date, after he washed the dishes, only thing you came and told him what he not doing. You didn't hold my hand today. What are you talking about? Like you ain't hold my hand when washing dishes. What are you talking about? Not washing dishes while driving the car. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, why are you coming at me off of what I didn't do when at the same time you saying, well, it's not sex? Then what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's not clear.
Yeah, I think for her, and I think, especially in the early stages in relationships, you want to kind of have that lust for each other. I can't keep my hands off of you, that type of thing. So I can see with her just saying, like, I don't feel like you want me because you're not affectionate, you're not touching me, you're not making me feel beautiful or like your lady or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you're not.
You're not.
You're really not his lady. And you want to have the full trial of marriage. Well, you're going to have to experience it without the physical because he's trying to respect Ryan at the same time. You're saying, well, we're broken up for them.
No,
not really.
This is not Riah and Brian. Mm-hmm. This is Riah and James. You get what I'm saying? So even though, like, he is what it is, and to him, Vanessa and Nick can say it's a trial marriage, it's real. To him, he's like, nah, this kind of feel like when I cheated on my girl, like
back in the day.
Mm-hmm. And that made me feel horrible.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that physical stuff with you. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Riah.
Yeah. So moving on, Ryan and Trey, they have a boat date.
Okay.
And they talk about the values that they want to have for their kids, about them being humble and making sure that they feel loved, and just making sure that their family is successful overall.
Yeah.
And Ryan thinks that he would be a really protective dad, a good dad.
Yeah.
And she wants her kids to understand the importance of family. And then they talk about the responsibilities in marriage as far as splitting up chores and doing their part in the household. And they honestly do have that down packed already now. He talks about how he takes out the trash and how she helps with cleaning up around the house. And Trey's just saying living with Ryan is just easier.
I love that word, easier.
And he's developed feelings for her, but he still loves Riah. And Ryan does not share the same sentiment. She just says she feels like they are building a stronger bond.
Whatever that means. Right. Listen here, man. A guy for a guy. I am not going to come on here and say woe is men, but woe is men, right? If life is already hard and he used something that if I was Riah, it should be a shot to the gut, a punch to the gut, a shot to the heart. Your heart should have shattered in pieces. If he said being with Ryan is easier, and he didn't point to anything financial, he didn't point to anything that like you need to come up with your money.
Right.
He pointed to basically his everyday life experience with this stranger. Riah, you failing in this relationship. And you're not failing because you're not in the career you want. You're not failing because you don't know if you want kids. You're not failing because you don't even know if you want to be married at the moment. You're failing because you're not making his life easier. While in return, he's trying to make your life easier.
Trying to make sure that you have everything you need so you can do whatever career goals you have. And you can figure out whether you want kids or not. He's not making you or forcing you to make any decisions now, but he is saying, I don't want to be married to you because I love you, and we can work all this stuff out.
Without the sex, he's gaining feelings for Ryan. Because he's
and they haven't been, doesn't look like they've been holding hands, hugging, nothing like that.
All because he's like, I'm not on a plantation. This is really like, I can live like this every day. And if this person can cultivate a life for me to live like this every day, I am getting feelings for this person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Riah, you had a head start on this. So it's very interesting how James and Riah are basically butting heads and things like that, because she wants the full experience, whatever the hell that means, of the ultimatum, and Trey is getting the full experience, but yet not the thing that Riah wants from James. He ain't getting the physicality.
Right.
It's showing where people's values lay, but is that it?
Yeah, that's it for this episode.
Listen here, we are on episode 5. We gonna try to get them out as quick as possible. I know the rest of the season is probably out by now, but thank you for joining us. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Anything else, Blair?
Let us know what you think. This is getting juicier and juicier. So, yeah, let us know how you feel about the couples and really about Riah and her speech about the physicality. Is it that important? Should she have drilled as much as she did, or was she tripping?
Yeah. Y'all be good.
Bye.